Hey, and welcome back to another edition of the preview show. This is a last minute edition of the preview show because this week the event, the WGC Matchplay, actually starts tomorrow, Wednesday, as opposed to Thursday as usual. So I'm a day earlier, as you can tell from the light. It's night time here. So doing a last minute show just to give you some context to what to expect this week. Before I do, I'd be remiss not to talk about last weekend. Obviously another great week from Tiger. I know that's been a lot of the story, but actually I want to concentrate on Rory. Fabulous week for Rory. Obviously the time he spent with Brad Faxon on the putting worked a treat because he gained 10 strokes on the field over the 4 rounds. Clearly the putting was the be all and end all for him. We all know he drives it great and he's got great iron play. So just fabulous to see him win, and again another Tier 1 name who's already won on either European or PGA Tour this year, to go along with DJ, Thomas, Mickelson, Fleetwood, Casey. Just unbelievable list of winners, and we're not even got to the majors yet, so very exciting, and we've got a great week ahead here. So let's crack straight on with the format this week and what to expect. So it's the match play. So it's the top 64 players in the world, and they're split into 16 groups of 4. And so Wednesday, Thursday and Friday they play their round robins in their groups. The group winners then move to the round of 16, which is played Saturday morning. The winners of the round 16 play in the quarterfinals Saturday afternoon, and then the winners of the quarterfinals play semis on Sunday morning, with obviously the winner and third, fourth playoff in the afternoon on Sunday. So that's kind of the format for the week. It is match play. It's at Austin Country Club. You might remember last year was DJ versus Rahm. I think DJ was something like 4 up with 5 holes to go. Rahm took it down the 18th. And then just a funny old instance as he was about to play his chip shot, having just driven through the back of the green on the 18th. A door slammed in the background, made him fluff his chip shot, and DJ got away with it when it looked like Rahm might steal it at the death. So it was a fabulous tournament last year. A couple of surprise names. I think Tanihara, if I remember rightly, got to the third, fourth playoff. So there's always a few surprises in there. And if we quickly look at some of the groups, there are some groups that are definitely easier than others. I think Kuchar from memory's got a pretty simple group. But I think there's a couple of groups I really wanted to put out there that I think are sneaky tough, pretty tough groups. First, Spieth. Spieth's got Patrick Reed, Hao Tong Lee and Charles Schwartzel. Hao Tong Lee, obviously another one of the big tournament on the European Tour to kick off the new season. Charles Schwartzel is always a class act and actually won his group last year. And Patrick Reed, well, there's 2 things that's interesting about that. A, he likes match play given what he's done in the Ryder Cup. But also, you might have seen on social media, he had a little spat with a rules official and used Jordan's name in vain in terms of not getting a favourable drop, should we say. So he's definitely got a tough group. I think Fleetwood's got a pretty tough group as well. A couple of young US Ryder Cup hopefuls in Kevin Chappell and Daniel Berger. And then, of course, English Ryder Cup stalwart in Ian Poulter. So there are a couple of groups to certainly look out for. I think the rest of the big guns are doing okay in terms of their groups. You know, I expect them to get through, but certainly don't be surprised with some unfamiliar names winning through. It always happens every year. That's why it's a great little tournament, and actually is a really nice counterbalance to all the stroke play, and actually a nice counterbalance to the fact Tiger's not going to be there. I think if it was an ordinary stroke play event, I think it would almost get sidelined by the fact Tiger's not there. But because it's match play, it's something different. It will still keep the golf public and the wider public engaged in golf, which I think will be exciting anyway. In terms of another sneaky, that's right, I've written it down here. A couple of groups to look out for. Sneaky tough is Alex Noren's group. You've got Noren, Finau, Thomas Pieters and Kevin Na. So Pieters, again, Ryder Cup player. Noren's playing well. Finau's playing really well. And Kevin Na's playing all right. He's boring as hell. So I think in a match play, it'll be a really tough match play opponent to play against. And again, he won his group last year. So I think it'll be fascinating. That'll be an interesting group. I think the, dare I say, easiest group of all is Paul Casey's. He's got Matt Fitzpatrick, Kyle Stanley and Russell Henley. Russell Henley's a bit of a dark horse, and I'll come on to him later, because I know he's got an excellent NCAA college golf record in match play. But Kyle Stanley, not done a huge amount this year. And Matt Fitzpatrick's been in no form. In fact, I think he's missed all his cuts in the States and all the matches and all the tournaments he's played. So he's clearly not in any decent form. And Casey's a proven commodity when it comes to match play, twice a runner-up in this event in years gone by. So coming round to my picks this week, winner each ways and a bit of a couple of outsiders to look out for. So I'm going to go with a hot hand. I'll go with Rory this week. If he can take that putting, there's no reason why not, into the next event. He's so dangerous in match play. His ability to score, his driving prowess. I know this course, we'll see some 400-yard drives this week. It will set up perfectly for him in his long game. If his putter is as dialed in, or even halfway near as dialed in as it was last weekend, he's going to crucify some opponents this week because he's just too good. So I really fancy him to do really well. I think he's got a relatively favourable group, so I expect him to get through that, to navigate through that. And I think he's a class act. So I'm hoping that Rory's going to go back-to-back weeks, a bit like DJ did last year, and win out this week. And at 7-1, it's not fabulous odds, but he's worth a punt there. Each way, couple of names for you. Paul Casey, I think, is an obvious one at 20-1. Proven pedigree in match play, runner-up twice in this event. At 20-1, that's pretty decent. His group's okay, as was already mentioned. I think it's a relatively easy group for him to get out of. And he's just playing really well. Obviously, last time he was out, he won. So he'll be riding high. Hopefully, he'll be able to take that form through. And the other name, again, I've already mentioned him, is Patrick Reed. Again, another great match player. I see him winning his group. Not saying that Jordan's not a great match player, but I think Patrick, there's something about him. He's got a bit of spunk about him. I think he'll do well this week. And at 30-1, I think he's a decent bet. In terms of outsiders, or real outsiders to look out for, and I don't expect either of these guys to win. And ironically, I'm doubling down a little bit in one group, but I mentioned one guy earlier, Russell Henley. He's got a phenomenal match play record from his college days. He's in some relatively decent form. I think he's 110-1, so he's an interesting outsider bet. But the other guy I'm certainly going to have a look at closely is Dylan Fratelli. South African, again, long hitter, great ball striker. Been in good form already on the European Tour. He's only played, I think, 1, maybe 2 events on the PGA Tour and did pretty well there. So, young guy, bombs it mild. I think his game, he scores heavily, scores really well. So I think his game is going to be well suited to match play. And at, I think, what is he, 90-1, he's certainly worth a punt there as an outsider. Is perhaps the Tanehara of this year that will perhaps come to the knowledge of the wider public. So there you go, just a quick one for tonight, just on the WGC, which starts tomorrow. I love this event. I think it'll be fascinating. There'll be some upsets over the next 2 or 3 days. It'll be interesting to see how that pans out. But yeah, I think Rory's going to be my man this week, but just looking forward to some good golf. Anyway, good luck this week. Comments below. As always, let me know who you think is going to win. And yeah, look forward to catching up with you next week. Cheers.